Hey guys. All right. Well, as promised, it's Diane. I'm back. And as promised, we are going to do a tutorial on the family tree and genealogy scrapbook. And I don't know if any of you saw, well, probably most of you have seen the first one, but I did fix the little oopses that were in here because so let me just do, for those who didn't see the first one, the preview, I'm just going to go quickly through this so you can see it. But it's basically, you've got an envelope on this side. You've got a horizontal waterfalls with magnetic pages on this side. And then you have a pocket if you wish. You can have a pocket. Right now I have a photo in my pocket and I have a recipe from my grandma. This is her passport photo, and that goes in the pocket along with the card where her recipe for lasagna or homemade bread will be in there. And then we have the back of that is a corner page, okay, and I did put a designer border on that. And then we have our vertical waterfall page. And on the first one, this one was falling, but I got my Stampin' Up! Tearing tape, so they are staying along just fine. And then I used my Stampin' Up! Tool to make these notches. And so that is, so every one of these is a little envelope, and you can put a card in there with recipes. And on this side, you can put, whatever you want. But there, basically, there's pockets there all the way around. And then, of course, you have a pocket on the pages. And this is what we're going to learn how to make, all these pocket pages and these cute little corner pages and these little holders here. And this is a holder with the belly band. I have the notes. And then here we have just a nice fold out page with another pocket page here. And you have pockets here, so you can put more family photos. I put a thing here that says tradition, so we can put just different family traditions. We can write those in there. So this is it, and it's really simple. And the binding is made with cardboard. Yes, you heard it, cardboard. We get so much cardboard because of things that I get shipped to me. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And if you want a little more detailed fun on the where I really go through each of those pages and show you where I am going to incorporate this Our Family Tree paper, sorry about that glare, then you can see my earlier blog/video. Okay, so here's what we need, okay? Supply list. Oh, that's not a good picture because it's way too bright. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna hold this up here so you can see it and actually get a screen capture of it because I have little diagrams. Oh, and it's backwards. All right, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. What I'll do is post it down below here because I see that it is showing up backwards. And even if I put it this way and you could screenshot it, because there are nice diagrams on there that show you exactly where to score the pages, top and the bottom at 1/2 inch. Then we need, for the waterfall pages, we need 4 and 3 by 7.5, and we're going to have 16 of those because we have those pockets are double-sided. We have them on each side. We're going to do that at 1/2 inch on the top only. Then for our other waterfall, the pages are 6.5 by 4 inches, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch along this side, okay? And that's because they fold out that way. If you want to put pockets on those, we will get those. So here, let me get, I'm going to show this close up, and then of course I'm going to have to figure out. And then we have that corner page. So the corner pocket page is just a page that is 9 by 8. And I'm going to show you how to do that on here. So I will make sure that this gets posted as a PDF below me so you can see all the diagrams and everything, because it's actually pretty cool. And remember, you can always go to my website, stampinwithdiane.stampinup.net, to see some of these products. Okay, so we have our binding, which is made out of cardboard, like I said. So I'm going to turn this so you can see it. The cardboard pages. This is the other nice thing about Stampin' Up! Is you get these grid papers. And with that grid paper, there are measurements. So for the binding, you're going to have pages that are, we're going to have our 8.5 piece paper or piece of cardboard. It's 8.5 by 8.5. Then you're going to have what's your spine, which is 3 by 8.5. Then you have another piece of paper that is 8.5 by 8.5. Not paper, sorry. These are cardboard pieces now. You could use chipboard. Then you've got one that is 1 3/4 by 8.5. And then at the very end, we have a piece that is another one that's 3 by 8.5. So let's see if you can see all those. So it goes at the, well, I'm just going to hold it up. So we have, because if you look at your book, it is, you've got your 3 by 8.5 is this piece. This is the 1 3/4 by 8.5. Okay, so that forms this area there. Okay, that's 3 by 8.5, and this is the 1 3/4 by 8.5. Then we have our 8.5 by 8.5. Okay, that's this. I'm going to show it this way too. And then our spine is that other 3 by 8.5 piece that we have. And then the very front is 8.5 by 8.5. Of course, I just turned this all upside down and lost all my little pieces, but that's okay. So this is 3 by 8.5. That's your flap. This is our 1 3/4 by 8.5. 8.5 by 8.5. 3 by 8.5 goes in here, and we're going to put our hidden hinge on that. And then you have 8.5 by 8.5. Okay, so you get those pieces of cardboard. Excuse me while I pick up those pages. You get those pieces of cardboard and you just lay them out. 8.5 by 8.5. Then you put your 3 by 8.5. And then you put and you're going to line all these up. Okay, I just want you to get these dimensions. 8.5 by 8.5. And then your next one is the 1 3/4 by 8.5. And then the very last one is your 3 by 8.5 once again. Okay, so once you have all those cut, just kind of lay them across on, I have my grid paper from Stampin' Up, which is awesome, but just put them in that order so that you can just make sure they're all lined up on the top and you can kind of see how it's getting laid out. Okay, once you do that, then you're going to take your designer paper, whatever designer paper you have chosen. And what I like is, look at this Toil and Trouble that we just got from Stampin' Up. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Okay, so we've got the, and of course this is double-sided. So because my book is actually 10, it's only 8.5 inches tall, but when we add all those up, I'm going to need 28 inches of paper across. So you can use the same paper. I used something different, a little bit different for the binding. Each of these papers are 12 by 12, so that's 24 inches already. I just need an extra 4 inches, and I'm going to bind those together. I'm going to line them up. Okay, this is the back sides. And I'm just going to use my tear and tape. And that was actually why my other pieces fell apart, because I didn't have my tear and tape. But I'm going to use my tear and tape to put those pages together. So we've got, I'm going to take these two, because I think they're so cute, and put them together. So this could be our family genealogy. Well, this is going to be hard to do on the camera, but basically I'm going to line these up and I'm going to make a seam. Just going to line them up, butt them up against each other. I'm going to use my tear and tape to join them. I may have to do this off camera, sorry, because, and then I'm going to just take a piece of paper that is also 12 by 12 and but only 4 inches wide. Okay, so I've got all those. Actually, you know what I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to trim so it's 10 inches across, because I'm doing, sorry, 10 inches. I mean 10.5 inches tall, because I'm going to actually use an inch on each side. Remember, my book is 8.5 inches. My paper is going to be 10.5 inches, but I need that ½ inch because I'm folding it over. I'm folding it over each of these pieces, okay? I just fold that paper right over this. Oh, I really am holding it upside down. All right. And I will use my tear and tape probably to do that too. Okay, then, okay, so now that's going to be like just the back part, because remember, look at, see how I have different paper on the inside? So my inside is going to have paper, but it's not going to be the full 10.5 inches high. This is only 8 inches, okay? It's only 8 inches tall, but it's still my 28 inches across, because all it's doing is it's lining the inside, okay? So once you do, so, I mean, you can figure out that part, and I will show that to you in a second, but let's make some of the pages. I want to show you how we make the pages too. So since the first page, it's a pocket page, but it is 8 inches by 8 inches, okay? So what I need to do, how about if we can see some of my face anyway, is I have one sheet that is 8 inches by 8 inches, and I have one sheet, okay, so here we go, 8 inches by 8 inches, and then I've got another sheet that is 9 by 8, okay? And this is how I'm going to make my pocket. Now the outs, I'm going to put the blank sides together, because what you're going to see is what's on the outside. So I've got this floral paper here and this floral paper on the other side. So I'm going to get my Stampin' Up! Scorer. Now I've already, this is what I like about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, is I can use it as a scorer or a cutter. So I'm going to take this and whoop, I'm just going to, now the dark blade is for cutting, and I don't need the dark blade because at this point I've already cut my pieces 8 by 8 and 9 by 8. But I do need to score my 9 by 8 at the top and at the bottom, 1/2 inch each. Okay, so I line this up. Make sure it's my 9 inch side. Yeah, so I want the long, I'll just double check it. Is that 9 inches long by 8 inches? Yeah, so along the long side, I'm just going to score it right here at the top. Okay, I'm going to show you that again because I think that wasn't very clear. So this one is 9 inches by 8 inches. And I want to score at the top, right along here at 1/2 inch, and right along here at 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's my long side. What I do is I put it in here. I find my 1/2 inch mark, and I take my scoring tool, which is the lighter one, and I just score. Okay, so scoring means I'm not cutting, I'm just making a nice line. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put it at the 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to close the cover, and I'm just going to take the scoring part and score. Usually I would do this flat, so I wouldn't have to push quite as hard. But so again, that's the Stampin' Up! Tool. So now that I can, there's a score line there, so all I have to fold along the score line. Wow, it really didn't. I really do need to do it while it's flat. Sorry, guys. So let me do that. you need that pressure of it being flat. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm doing it off camera, sorry. But now you can actually see the score line. Whee! So I just fold it. I fold it over. Okay. And I fold it over. And it is good to use my bone folder to really make that a nice a nice like surface. And I should have, that's the other nice thing about the Stampin' Up! Tools, is they always have a scorer or a piece of, they have a little tool where you can always run that across the top and you can burnish those folds and just really make sure that they're well done. And I got that from, this is the Stampin' Up! Notch Maker. And see, this tool just fits right in here. So they always have, I just think that's what's nice about Stampin' Up! Is they always have little extras that it's like, oh, I must have left that in the other room. But it's like, no, it's already on the back of your tool. So what happens here is we've got our fold, right? 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. I'm going to put the tear and tape back here. I'm going to attach the 8-inch page, 8x8 page onto it. And I have what is called a pocket page. Now, let me show you a little trick. Because we want to make it easy to slip this into my hinges, I'm going to miter cut those corners. And I do that. The miter cut is real easy, right? It sounds, they make fancy machines but basically all you're doing is you're doing a diagonal cut at an angle. So that's what it looks like. And then a diagonal cut. Show it. So the cut goes this way on that side. And what that does is it just makes it easier for this to slip onto your hinge or anything else you might want to use. Okay, and you could do that on all 4 corners. Let's do that on all 4 corners because it's sometimes when I first started doing this, I was like, wait, which angle am I going at? Okay, so again, I've got this side, cut, boink. And then I've got this side, cut, boink. And that's called a miter cut. And we're going to use that on our corner page too, so our corner pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to take my tear and tape. This is the beauty of tear and tape. I probably could do this holding it up. Again, this is Stampin' Up's tear and tape. It comes in different sizes. This one is, I think, this one's a 1/4 inch. I take my tear and tape, and the beauty is it's sticky on this side, but you don't really want to touch it too much because you want it to. And right now, there's a like piece of wax paper on this other side. So I can just pull this where I want it to be. I can press it, and probably I'm going to use my little burnishing tool again. And then I just tear it. How easy is that? Now I'm going to press, again, it's so simple. I'm going to press it so that I know that it's really stuck onto this paper, right? And you would do this on a flat surface, really. The table is really better to do that because you get that nice sturdy background on it. So I just rub that tool across. And you can buy these also at Stampin' Up! Just separately. They're ivory and they're called a bone folder. And they have the cute little Stampin' Up! Logo. Now, ours are going this way. So I'm going to keep this design also going up and down. And all I have to do now is attach this. And I'm going to show you another trick. Because I really want my pocket pages to hold, and I have like grandchildren that are kind of rough on pages, I'm going to put the tear and tape across the top here as well. Remember, this is my 8 and 8x8 piece of paper. So I'm just going to put the tear and tape across the top. because that's going to be like double sticky. I attach it, you can see, push it across, and then all I have to do is tear. Poink, tear that apart. Okay, and I'm going to attach these two. Of course, now I attached these two, but of course there's wax. I still have to take off this outside sticky tape, right? So let's do that. I'm going to take off. You just take your tape, and this is why it's important to press it down, because when you take off your, taking off this little tape, well, we are already at 21 minutes, and that's probably way too long. Here again, I can use my tool, but basically you take off this wax, and what's left here is the sticky side, and I'm not going to touch it because that it'll get unsticky if I use the oils from my fingers. I'm going to take this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to like get it at the corner, and I'm going to tear it off. And again, I have the sticky part underneath. Now, best way to do this, of course, is to lay it down and line it up with each other. But I'm going to try to do this right here. I think we can. I'm going to put it, just going to attach it. Okay, let's get in the camera. Attach. Okay. Okay, there we go. Attach there. I'm going to be on the blooper videos, aren't I? And then we're going to attach it here. And there I've got my pocket page. Okay, that's the top, but you can see, you see how that is, I mean, it's great. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, and then this page is called a pocket page. Now, we're going to add some stuff to this. We're going to add a corner pocket. We're going to add those magnetic things. I could even add the pouch in here that folds out. But right now, if you could make 4 of these pocket pages and secure them top and bottom. So remember, it's 9 by 8 time for one side and 8 by 8 on the other side. On your piece that is 9 inches by 8 inches, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the top and on the bottom. And that would be your 9-inch side. Your 9 inches, you're scoring at half here and half at the top. Miter cut it. Use your score line. Take your tear and tape, attach, and you've got your pocket pages. Okay, so let's do that with 4 pages. And I'm going to show you something so you can see how this goes. This is your pocket page. It fits over your hinge. This is a pocket page. See, I've got these open on this side. And on the hinge part, we attach the pocket page right over this. This is your hinge. So this page attaches over this. And as you can see, the hinges are also miter cut. And that makes your page, okay? So that's your basic for this album, is you need to have, so you want to have 4 of those pages. Okay, now the corner pocket. Let's do corner pocket. Okay, that's this. See this corner pocket? I want to show you how to make these. They're very simple. You're going to take a piece of paper that is, I'm going to look at my instruction page. You're going to take a piece of paper that's 9 inches by 8 inches. So I've got one already cut. Actually, I was going to use that same page. Here we go. So this page is 9. This is 9 by 8. So again, it's what we use on our pocket page. I'm going to put it in my trimmer. In my scorer slash cutter, but I'm going to do it diagonally. So I'm going diagonal to diagonal. Okay. So once I have those in, and I'm going to have to come off camera just to close my lid here. Kind of like this piece of paper though. I don't know if but if you can see, I have a perfect diagonal, okay? And again, this is the scoring tool, but I don't want to use that. I'm cutting this time. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Oops. And cut. Of course, if I were doing this, I'm going to just try to hold that. Okay. As long as I hold that down, it'll work. That's the nice thing. These blades are really pretty good and sharp. Okay, so all I did was I did corner to corner. Now I've got 2 pages. Okay, 2 final. Got 2 of these, and I can use this for my corner pocket. Now I need to score this again. I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side. Then I'm going to miter cut it so that I can have a nice corner. I have one already made so that I can just show it to you. But either way, even if I can't find it, we'll just make a new one. But okay, here's my paper, right? Okay, that's before I've scored it or anything. You're going to take it and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the bottom, 1/2 inch on the top. Now, that's great, except when you go to fold it, it's going to be tough. So you want to do this miter cut again. Okay, and let me show you how to do that. So I've got my piece. I have scored it at 1/2 inch. Of course, you do this with the scoring tool. So maybe I should do that first because I do like this paper and I'm going to want to use it. So I'm going to do it the right way. So I'm going to pull out my Stampin' Up! Tool. Line this up so it is 1/2 inch. And again, now this time I don't want my blade. All I need is the scoring tool. Okay, so I'm scoring at 1/2 inch on this side, the long side, and then 1/2 inch on the other straight edge, I guess you could call it. Okay. Okay, so I've done that. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Tool. Okay, so I'm folding these in. But as you can see, like these are going to run into each other. But I'm going to fold it and I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Tool to really make it an edge. Okay, so that just really makes it fold. So I just rubbed this along it. I laid it against the table and rubbed this along it. Okay, so now the thing is, we're like, hey, what's this? This is, I don't want this extra corner. So I need to miter cut here, across here, and across here. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a line so you can see what I'm doing. So see, I'm gonna miter cut. I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut across here. I'm going to cut across there, and that way there won't be any overlap. Then I'm going to take where my little tips are right here, and I'm going to cut that straight across, and I'm going to cut this straight across. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, and it might help you in the beginning just to do that little lines. So we're going to cut right there, And when you are doing your burnishing, you almost see where this cutout should be. And right there. So now when I fold these in, see there's no little extra gaps. And it's just a nice, neat corner. And that's how it looks in there. Okay, then I want to get these little extra wings off. So I'm just going to cut across. There. Oh, there. And then I'm going to cut across here. Okay. Wow, and now we have pocket. We're just going to attach this to the front of our pocket page, and we have a corner pocket for the back of our first pocket page. Okay, now here's the thing. We're going to make this fancy because we want to add a little cute design up here. So I'm going to use one of my punches. This is another beauty of Stampin' Up! Is you have these punches, and I am going to make a border along. I'm going to make this little flower border along the outside of my corner pocket. You don't have to do this. And you know what? You could do it with a pair of scissors. Do something fun. Make diagonal cuts in there. But let me show you how that looks. When we did it is, it just gives it this nice little design. You can see that. It's just a little cute extra thing to do. But basically, we will take our corner, and if you don't want to make it fancy because you're like, hey, this is my first one, this is the first time I'm doing it, I'm not going to make it fancy. But this will attach. So let's say this is your page. When you turn the page, you can either have it on this side. Okay, I mean that's a simple because here's our. You can do, that's the beauty. You have two of these corners, so you can make it, turn this around. But remember, a lot of these projects are already on my website, which is www.stampinwithdiane.stampinup.net. And that's where also you can buy a lot of these supplies. But the tear and tape, you want your Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and you want this is going to make our notches, but this also had that handy dandy tool for the, to burnish and to make our corners really tight. Okay, so I'll be right back. This is already 33 minutes, so that's probably given you enough to do, and you can record it and go back and look to make those pocket pages and to make your cardboard spine. All right, see you in a little bit.